Today's tale from the crypt is one that is rather chilling and an experience I can only describe as absolutely terrifying. Terrifying for the victim and terrifying to read about, especially if you attempt to place yourself in the situation. Everything in this video is total fact. This is the tale of the woman on the blue door. Lynn Spalding was a 57-year-old British woman who lived in San Francisco with her boyfriend Mark Casey. She was a mother of two and was known for having a rather vibrant personality. Lynn had been feeling rather unwell for a number of days, and after no sign of improvement, she was taken to San Francisco General Hospital, where she was diagnosed with a UTI or urinary tract infection. Doctors contributed the cause of the infection to Lynn's drinking, as she had problems with alcohol addiction. The illness also led to her developing physical and mental disorientation, in addition to being in a lot of discomfort from the UTI itself. The doctors determined that Lynn was at risk due to her confused state and decided she was to be kept in for continued treatment, basically so they could get to the bottom of the illness and simply just make Lynn better. The drugs they administered to Lynn also didn't help with her physical state, as she became more drained, more tired, and more confused. She kept telling the doctors that she just wanted to go home. That was her conversation every time she seen a nurse, a doctor, or even hospital staff. She just informed them that she wanted to go home. Now, the hospital staff just continued to inform Lynn that she couldn't go home, not until they were satisfied with her condition, which they were far from. As a matter of fact, Lynn wasn't showing much signs of improvement at all. However, despite being told she had to remain in the hospital, Lynn left her bed several times and tried to escape to return home. That was all she wanted, just to go home. She was caught every single time and returned to her bed by staff. A bed alarm was even placed in her room so the nurses would be notified anytime Lynn got out of her bed, even if it was just to go to the bathroom. So 2 days have passed by, and Lynn's last visit from a nurse was on the third day at 10:15 AM. After the nurse left, Lynn knew this was her window to escape, so she could finally go home. Still in a somewhat disorientated state and potentially easily confused by anything that could compose even the smallest challenge, Lynn managed to get out of the bed without setting off the alarm. She also managed to remove the apparatus attached to her body and then put on her civilian clothes, and she made her way towards the blue exit door that she thought would lead to the stairwell. And it did, but it wasn't that simple. Now, bear in mind that Lynn was confused and was also heavily medicated, so as I said, even the smallest challenge of opening a door correctly could be problematic. Well, Lynn made it through the blue exit door, but what she wasn't expecting was to be led out onto a small exterior balcony with another door adjacent to the blue emergency exit door. So, to sum it up, she walks out the exit door, small balcony right in front of her, adjacent door on the right. Now, this adjacent door led to the stairwell, and there was only a couple of feet between the original blue exit door and this adjacent door on the right. So what Lynn didn't realize was that the first door she came through, the blue door, automatically locked from the inside after it was closed, meaning Lynn could not get back in. So the theory is that she may have turned around and tried to open the door just to confirm whether she could go back in if she wanted to, but she realized it was locked. So she takes the adjacent door on the right, which leads her to the stairwell. She goes down one flight of stairs to the 4th floor, goes through to the balcony on that level, and tries to open the exit door, just like she did one floor above. When she realizes that's locked, Lynn doesn't really know what to do other than just sit there, believing she was trapped and unable to return inside. Now, these doors locking behind from the inside occurs on every single floor of the hospital. What Lynn wasn't aware of is that had she just took the stairwell to the bottom, she could have safely departed the hospital through the ground floor exit, of which that door was actually open, as it is an emergency exit. Now, as I said, it's important to remember that Lynn is nowhere close to being in a sound state of mind, so she waits and waits and waits on the 4th floor, maybe believing someone may come and find her. The nurse comes back to Lynn's room over the course of the day and realizes she's gone missing. The hospital put out a search to locate Lynn, but they can't find her anywhere. 10 hours pass before the hospital decide to contact the police, and despite a combined search of the entire grounds, nobody could find Lynn. Surprisingly, not one person had checked the exterior stairwell or the balcony. Now, the reason for this was because the location was outside a fire exit and was an area not routinely accessed, monitored or even patrolled by security. Missing person posters were placed in the area, and it even made the TV news, but still, no sign of Lynn anywhere. Her boyfriend Mark was distraught, as was Lynn's daughters and family. All the while, poor Lynn was trapped on the 4th floor balcony. She'd remain on that balcony for 13 days before a hospital researcher who was doing some work on the grounds and not a permanent employee was making his way through the back stairwell. They opened the door and found Lynn lying on the ground. Shockingly, instead of tending to her, trying to assist her, maybe seeing if she was okay or anything, the researcher just took their radio and called through to security to report the incident. Security acknowledged the report and said they'd come up to help, and the researcher just left Lynn there and went on his way, never returning back to the hospital as his work was completed. What's even more shocking and more horrifying is that the security never went to check on Lynn. They never went up. They either forgot or just didn't bother making that grueling journey to the 4th floor. I'm being sarcastic, by the way. And Lynn was left there again by herself. On October 8th, after another 4 days had passed and 17 days in total since she became trapped there, Lynn was found, but this time it was too late. She was dead. The autopsy report revealed she had died from dehydration due to an electrolyte imbalance, which itself stemmed from alcoholism. She also had delirium from her UTI and had developed sepsis additionally. From the decay of her body, she may have been deceased for several days. Hospital staff were said to be surprised they couldn't smell the body rotting. Yeah, that was an actual quote. Lynn's death received a huge public outcry and threw hospital protocols into question on how something so horrifying could happen. Lynn's family didn't rest on the acceptance of her unnecessary and needless passing, and were quoted as saying by a family representative, "No one has yet to answer or suffer meaningful consequences following the death. Lynn's family and friends demand justice and full accountability." They sued the hospital and received a $3 million settlement.